some deadlifts today. We're gonna try anyway. So I'm pretty tight in the hamstrings and low back, but as long as I'm not getting pain from them, we'll see. We're gonna try and work up to 475, and you know, if I start to feel anything like I'm out of position or anything like that, I'll either do the bigger wheels so I don't have to pull as far, or we'll just call it a day. So we'll just start out, we'll see how we feel, and we'll go through crazy. My shins are getting torn up today. That's good though. Your shins aren't torn up, you're not deadlifting right. Look at Smelly's shins. Just absolutely brutalized. Smelly, bring those, show him those shins. Large. It's not deadlift day, it's a Superman shirt on. Right, babe? I will realize when you bring it off the deadlift jack, there's going to be a bend in the bar where it touches down, and that won't be there on competition day. So what I do is when I have a heavier weight, I go ahead and I pull one side, and that pulls that kind of bend out of the bar. So now you're having to pull it completely from that dead stop. This public service announcement brought to you by BioLayne. I do Iron Tank's belt, the Hellraiser belt. Love this thing, especially with the nice black coated steel lever. Amazing. Indestructible.
So he's hitting like his solar plexus, his sternum each time.
A little slow off the floor, but we'll give it a go. I think it's okay. They were wrong, I'm coming. I remember when y'all making fun of me, saying I was never gonna lift again. Thanks. Feels good. Only 475, but feels like 600 with how I was feeling 5 months ago. Just feels good to pull pain free. Coach Billy Bell. Filmed recorded a PowerCast episode yesterday. I thought that went pretty well.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I think we got through like 2.5 questions, something like that.
You know, the really cool thing about having Layne here is last time he came, I think he was out here for, I don't know, 5 or 6 days.
Something like that.
Maybe 4 or 5 days, but whatever the case was, every single day he was here trained, all the way to the point where we had to open up the gym or give him a key. I can't remember, but he came in like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of dedication. It's really cool to see somebody that's been lifting for so long to still have that desire inside like that. And then even this time, you're here for 2 days, lifting for 2 days.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I tell it's funny, people say, man, you must have a lot of dedication to do what you like. Really, like, it would take dedication to keep me out. You know what I mean? Like, I love to train. And, you know, my wife sometimes talks about, oh, let's go on a 2-week tour in Europe. And I'm like, I train like 2 or 3 times.
There's some good gyms out there.
Yeah. So it's not that, you know, it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I love to do. And I turn that passion into a career. And you kind of did a little bit the same thing, right? So what made you shirk the normal, like, did you have to have a normal job? What made you shirk what most people do and start this? Like, what was the inception for that?
First of all, I didn't do it a little bit. I did it a lot of it, Mr. Layne Norton. Sorry to correct you, Mr. Dr. Pants.
Well, you always showed me 7 pounds in my squat, so you know.
That's true. I know, I always dip them. You know, I don't know, like, for me, the process has been a little bit weird, you know, it's almost as if I grew up with parents that were able to speak a certain language, and then I went out into a world where that language is really useful for everybody else. And so, like, in this scenario, I was lifting at a really young age, at the age of about 12, and got into some powerlifting meets. My brothers got me into it and stuff, and I didn't know much about it. I was actually even embarrassed and kind of shy about it. My mom used to call the school and call the local newspaper and tell them the numbers that I did, and say I broke, you know, a state record or a national record.
The same way.
And they would announce it on the loudspeaker at school, and I would just crouch down in my chair. I'd turn redder than that shirt because I was so embarrassed because lifting just wasn't cool. It wasn't anywhere, and back then there wasn't really a lot of people talking about how lifting and life can parallel each other.
Yeah.
You're not really just training your body, although you are. You're training your mind, your spirit, your soul, and everything else. And now there's a much better understanding of it, but also a much better appreciation of other forms of fitness, CrossFit, rock climbing, like anything that you're gonna go do, hiking, all these different things that have such tremendous value. So for myself, starting lifting at such a young age, and then now it's like, hey, powerlifting's cool. I wasn't like, hey, this is my sport, I'm gonna hold tight like this. As soon as I saw that, and I saw that coming up in 2006, which is when my YouTube started, I was like, fuck yeah, let's give this all out to everybody so we can get more people and attract more people to it.
Yeah, I always say rising tide floats all ships. That's very true. You know, we should be focused on growing the sport as a whole. People, I mean, look how hard it is for women right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cool thing for women to powerlift. Can you imagine 10 years ago trying to get girls to powerlift? It's like pulling teeth.
I'm sure there's a lot of women that had big asses 15 years ago, and maybe that wasn't a thing. Well, now it's a thing, and we like to see women with a little bit of juiciness on them. We like to see a woman that has handled some weight. In my opinion, when a woman, and I'm sure the reverse is probably true for women to men, but I know as a guy, from our perspective, when a girl exercises, when a girl pushes her body really hard, you see a girl sweating really hard doing something like volleyball or lifting. You know, for us it's lifting. That 5 or 6 can turn into a 7 or 8, ladies. I'm dead serious. When you see a woman, you see them pushing themselves to the limit, and you see them doing some of these things, it's very sexy and it's very attractive. And I think that's why you see so many females in the sport now, and I'm glad to see the sport's welcoming of it. I'm glad to see, you know, years ago we saw this trend coming, and so we started the Women's Pro-Am here in Sacramento, and that trend has carried on through Laura Phelps and some other people, and we have Jennifer Thompson coming here in a couple days.
Can I embarrass everybody?
That's the most unbelievable feat of strength
The
ever.
greatest bench presser in the history of powerlifting.
Yeah, 319 or 314 pounds. 325 pounds.
132 pounds.
I've gotten her weight messed up before and her age, and I've gotten in trouble for both. So just going to try to keep my mouth shut on that. But unbelievable, and it's great to see more and more females getting into the sport.
And I see it like the evolution of like MMA, right? When you first got when MMA first got popular, it was like a karate guy versus a jiu-jitsu guy,
right?
A wrestler versus a boxer, right? It was just one thing.
Right.
And now you've got guys who've been trained that way their whole life. So what we've got now, before you just had people who kind of came over from another sport, right? They couldn't get. Now you got kids who are training this. Look how competitive USA Field Nationals has got. My winning total from 2015 would have put me out of the top 3 in 2016. So it's amazing how competitive it's getting.
There's probably some teenagers that are watching this kind of stuff right now that probably don't feel they're strong enough to compete in it, but they're probably deadlifting 600 pounds and squatting 550 and stuff. And there's just some real monsters coming through the sport. And
it's fun to watch.
For me, getting banged up and getting injured here and there, and being 40 years old, I do not feel too old. I actually feel fucking awesome. I feel better than I ever have. However, I have been doing this for 20 years. When I see all these young guys coming in who are so thirsty to do better, and they're already lifting so much fucking weight, I'm like, let me just step aside, and whatever light has shined on me, I'm just going to take a mirror and reflect it over onto some of these guys and highlight what they're doing, because it is unbelievable. There's kids deadlifting 900 pounds. That kid at 198 did that 881 pull like 2 weeks ago. It's fucking ridiculous.
But it's going to be fun to see where the sport goes, and I think, people like you have been, a big promoter of it, and we need that. I think that's one of the biggest things is if we just, I hate to sound kumbaya, but instead of trying to rip each other down, and even amongst other sports like powerlifting versus bodybuilding, I've done both. I like both. What's good for one is going to be good for the other. People are going to cross over and do all that kind of stuff, whether it's CrossFit, whatever. Like whatever it is, your thing. I think we would both say, as long as you're out doing something you're passionate about, being physically active, that's the important thing.
You have to be passionate and excited about something. And so whatever it is that you're going to get into, you got to really live it. It's got to be part of everything that you do. For me, I was always giving. The gym is free. Obviously, like everyone's YouTube channel is free, but I don't bother to monetize or anything like that. So I have a lot of products to sell and different things, but really what I'm trying to do is deliver a message. And I realize that the more messages I deliver, the more people relate. I do understand that does bring in more money. That is my objective. I am trying to make more money.
Of course.
I am trying to be stronger. I am trying to be leaner. I'm not trying to be worse at anything.
No, of course.
I'm trying to succeed. But my passion is to try to make the world a better place to lift and to make more people like us come together and to create great YouTube channels like he has. He's got a great app. He's got a great website. He's got a great thing going on with bodybuilding.com. And all these things are going to just continue to help the sport grow. So I'm really fucking fired up to be part of all of it.
All right, brother, check him out, Mark Smelly Bell on social media and Supertraining Gym. See you guys.
Later.